some comments on your mini annotated bibliography entries. First thing I highlighted was let's see. First I highlighted the 2008 October, and I'll talk about that in a second. Then I went on to highlight where you wrote, "This work explains the author of this article," which the second part is more clear about it's from an engineering journal. I had wondered what kind of journal it was because the date said 2008 October, and by having the month in there, I started thinking maybe it was a magazine. So I wasn't really sure, even though you were calling it a journal. Next, it just says page 21. So I don't know if the journal is 21 pages or if this is an article that's on page 21. I think maybe you're using CSE. I want to go back and look at that. So I think CSE does use page numbers, but it's usually page ranges, and if it's a one-page piece, then I'm skeptical whether or not it's a journal article. But because it has its issue and volume number, I suspect it is a journal article. So the one-pageness makes me wonder if it's an article, but then the citation around 2008 October makes me wonder if it's a journal or magazine. So notice how these are the things I'm using. The next entry, you've also got page 6, again like it's one page, so same kind of thing. It then says this work from a magazine, again serving professionals, makes me wonder, okay, so it's a magazine, so is this a one-page thing? Having the June 1st make sense for a magazine. I'm going to have to double check CSE to even be familiar, but this is definitely not APA as far as the page number, the PG, and the additional month. Next one where you wrote, "Just like my previous source," what I'd say here is I'm guessing it's the source right above for now, right? But at some point you might have new sources that might come in here in your bibliography. So better to say just like McFedris and just name the previous source. Good job though for comparing, because not everybody's remembered to do that. Of course, I noticed the first one doesn't have a comparison to anything, so then I'm wondering. So on your next two sources, there is a page range, I notice, on this particular one. Again, it's still got the September, and the next two sources have this month thing. So I'm wondering if there's just whether or not these are really magazines. And you think they're magazines, but you're calling them articles. Time magazine needs to be italicized. You can be more concise even and say this magazine article discusses how, so that was an option. And then obviously he urges becomes kind of like Walsh or the author. But then what I notice is we've got he urges in one sentence and later it discusses. So one sentence is talking about what the author does and other sentences are talking about what the work does. So to be more consistent, you can kind of stick to either he or it. Again, good job comparing and also telling why these are helpful to your research. Again, I'd point out for my first two sources, I'd use the names. And again, there's no comparison in the first one, just the second. So that part of comparing seems to be inconsistent, but you look like you're off to the right track, and feel free to chat with me about these if you're unsure, and I'll also double check the CSE format before I grade your annotations.